So on Thursdays, we like to talk about marriage, family, life, and parenting especially. But today, Patience Ozokwor caught our attention when she was saying that she would never advise anyone to leave their marriage because of infidelity. According to her, it's if at all anyone should leave, it should be the visitor or even the man, but not her. What are your thoughts on this? And I know we've discussed issue of infidelity a trillion times on this show, but the truth is that it never goes old because people still have to be faced with these things. And infidelity doesn't happen just because somebody wants to hurt the other person. They're always led by feelings of need or want for some things that you don't have. It's like the person is feeling a void sometimes. And many people are usually advised that if somebody cheats because there's a problem, why don't you help fix the problem so the cheat doesn't happen? But we found that today, whoever is going to cheat will cheat, regardless of how great the homes are. There's some beautiful, model-looking, hot-looking, well-exposed, educated people that are still dealing with this issue. So it's not the perfect woman or the perfect man. Something is missing that causes them to leave. And when they finally leave, when they finally cheat, should we continually be bonded by this thing called marriage? I mean, because people hold on to it, I will never leave, them be the ones to leave. But it's because of the value we place on this document called marriage. Many people today are saying, listen, open marriages. You do, I do, we're happy, the kids are being raised well, nobody knows, everybody's feeling their void in different ways. It's a conversation that we need to keep having because what are deal breakers? Or should we even make it a deal breaker anymore and just live with it? Because men have needs, women have needs. What are your thoughts on this new way of saying, listen, our mother says they will stay. I'm not staying. I don't even want to leave either, but I want to be able to do mine outside and let him do his. And we're all happy. I think we're adults. So what do you think about this conversation? Especially also linking to what Patience Ozokwor said. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweet. So this perspective of that person should leave, is it outdated? Or should we still continue to hold on to this, listen, hold the marriage, let the visitor be the one to go, or find new options of dealing with it?
Okay, so traditionally, in the Nigerian space, when cheating takes place, it's always a case of the man tends to own the house and the man brings another woman in and either the lady leaves or she's chased out and somebody takes her place. So Patience Ozokwor's comments in terms of saying that she won't leave is, for me, an indication of I'm willing to forgive the man that cheats, I'm willing to make the marriage work, and I'm going to stay in that marriage because of all I've invested, which for me strikes really old school too. Yeah. In modern terms, there's no, I'm going to leave the house for the man, or the man will send you out of the house, because in most new families, everything in the house is 50-50 to a large extent. The man is paying house rent, the woman is bought the fridge, paying DSTV, paying this one, like everything in that house, there is the male and female, husband and wife, have a lot of contribution into the house. So there's no, I'm walking away from the house. For those that are building, I recollect several cases where you see, they say, the man's money finished. It's the woman's money that did the roof. The woman did the finishing in the house. So really, you can't say it is my house. There is no that setting like that anymore. And so the idea of the woman leaving or the woman being chased out of her husband's house by another woman is not a conversation as such. But there are some that their reality is still like that, and they're going to have to deal with the with facing the fact that maybe their husband will be sending them out of the house. And for those kind of people, the case of forgiveness tends to be more in front of their faces. Modern women are not really that forgiving anymore. They say cheating has become a major deal breaker because they feel like, why would you? I'm faithful to you, be faithful to me.
I want us to think of the fact that modern women are saying cheating is no longer a deal breaker. If you cheat, it's because you want something. Me too, allow me to cheat somewhere else.
Are you sure?
I'm not all modern women. I'm just saying that because we are hearing more of this. It sounds like it's not in our circles because we don't have that. But a lot of people are facing the fact that, listen, they are doing it behind closed doors. Nobody knows. It's being done. So the man is thinking, I am the one that is cheating.
But
the woman is acting as if, oh, you know, but she's also getting happy somewhere. So the point is that we don't want to normalize it or make it normal. But we're saying that men and women should know there are more options on the table now.
Mariam,
Like, the option is it's not about the person. I will not let you take my husband. She's like, you can go.
wow.
What do you think?
Okay.
YK wisdom. Some gray wisdom.
Give us some.
I mean, this is a very difficult topic for me because, for me, cheating is not a deal breaker. Like I always say it here, my father had 27 wives, my mother didn't go. I'm not saying she was happy, but she didn't leave. And it's not that my man will cheat and I will say, oh, myself, I'm going to cheat my own. If it comes to that, let me just be going.
Yeah.
You know? So it's very difficult for me. It's what is your own deal breaker? Everybody has their... My own deal breaker is if I find out that my own partner is sleeping with another man. That's my deal breaker. I will run. They won't even beg me. I will be...
That's cheating now.
But cheating get cheating. You know, cheating different. A woman, if you're cheating with a woman, I can. But if you're cheating with a man, that one a deal breaker.
Can I ask, what if it's... How about if it's someone that's very close to you? Would you mind... Would you close your eyes if it was someone farther away? Or would you insist that this is over if it was someone really close to you? If it was a cousin or a friend that's always been with you, which one would...
I love that question. Because there, I may not be able to tolerate it. I will... If I'm living with the man, I will move out. And if he wants to see me, he can come and see me. I may not leave him, but I will leave his house.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's different. Wow.
But when you say, if the person, because me, for example, if the person is far away in Japan, far away in Canada,
I don't know.
It's one of those things. But you see, those kind of, it starts with that. But then the conversation starts, because now people are now doing video calls. So there's no more distance in these things. We think they are far away in Japan. Trust me, they're not that far. They're very visible. But let me hear your thoughts on this.
Okay, so my own is cheating is cheating, and I agree with YK. Whatever is your deal breaker, you know, you handle it. The question I would like to answer is don't leave the marriage, he should leave the marriage. The moment one person leaves, there's no marriage to stay back. A home, the marriage is made up of the man and the woman, you know, together. If one person leaves the home, as far as I'm concerned, there's no marriage anymore. So even if you insist on staying in the house and the person leaves, the marriage is over.
But the person cheats on you, not
No,
leaves
yes,
physically.
but you know, she also goes ahead to say that you are not, don't leave. Instead, the person should, the man or the person who's cheating, we're just assuming is the man here, but the spouse who is cheating should leave. And for me, that's already the end of the marriage when the person leaves. So there's no marriage anyway. So the thing is, we should, I think cheating is, you know, there's like context. Some people will say, okay, you know, as you grow older, you hear people's stories, and then you realize, okay, there's sometimes you see someone behaving a certain way, and when you sit back and ask and find some more information, you find that someone was nearly pushed out to be intimate with someone else. The other person may not be cheating, but has sort of tuned out of the marriage, tuned out of any sort of conversation, even concerning intimacy or whatever within the marriage, and this person now goes out. To the outsiders, they think it's a big deal, but the person inside, the man or the woman inside, is thinking, you know, to be honest, I sort of created this situation. We even had conversations about it, and I've created a situation, and that's it. So that's the thing about cheating. Until you sit down with individual couples and understand what it is.
Because, you know,
there's no blanket approach.
There are some women
dealing
that
with it.
think, oh, I'm not going to sleep with this man to punish him.
And that causes...
And what happens is, because that intimacy between the man and the woman happens also in the bedroom. Now, once you now create that vacuum, the man is going to go outside.
What if the man
Or
is
the
the
woman
one
will
is
go
one
outside.
the man is one creating a vacuum where he's not like, for example,
happens.
there are some men of God, some pastors that believe that they are so righteous and they just that the other room matters is ungodly, and the woman is there. Maybe she used to be a former beauty queen, gave her life to Christ, you know, and she feels that she's lived a bit of the secular world. Now she's married to this minister, and who is just a whole, you know, very holy guy, and then she's now trying to, okay, yes, I'm now in the world, now I'm not in Christ, but I still would like to feel in this kind. I still would like to look sexy. I like to feel that way. I like to, you know, in my bedroom. But the man is like, blood of, you know. So there are some men like that.
That blood of Jesus, maybe he's a homosexual.
Let's go. Let me go back to something you said.
I'm serious.
About
red flags.
someone cheating in response to a cheat, and it goes to what we've always said: pressure reveals content. You know, you will not become some. You should not. We shouldn't allow ourselves become something
We're not.
who we are not because we are being pressured, and people, if that happens, some women feel like this person has done, or some men feel like, how can you do that to me? I've been very faithful in this marriage, and then I've seen a lot of men cheat. I don't cheat. Then suddenly you find out your wife is cheating. Then the man decides to now also go and cheat because you did it to me. I'm going to do it back like a revenge. But the truth is, we mustn't allow ourselves become something different from who we are. We mustn't allow pressure change our content. We must allow pressure reveal the goodness of us from our hearts.
So, let me give you
And pressure is very, very present.
Let me give you a context, because I've always thought about this in different ways. There are some young people that we pressure to get married. There's some people that they're not ready, or because they meet some nice guy, mommy said it's time, and they just want to get something, you know, let me just get married. It's like guy, girl, same thing. And you feel that pressure, and you meet a nice guy, decent guy, looks nice, got a good job, marry him. But inside you, the connection is not there, but you hope that you build the connection. As you mature, he's also finding out that the spark wasn't really there. We both came together for circumstances. We know a few people that married because of circumstances, after they got pregnant, something happened. As you grow older, the man finds that, okay, he's attracted to somebody else. The woman too, even though she has tried to make this work, finds out that her heart's actually connected to somebody else. But they have children, and they have a contract, as the marriage contract with them. So they don't want to destroy that because of the kids. So there is a genuine internal. I mean, I know marriage is about being deliberate, but internally your heart is somewhere else. So it's not like you want to cheat. It's not like you're that bad person that wants to cheat. But your heart is not there anymore.
Falling in love with someone else.
You fall in love with someone else. So that's the reality. But why is it so difficult for us to say, you know what? You leave, I leave, let's move. Why is it a difficult conversation for us to just force ourselves to stay there? Just because of society, or just because because of the children, you know, we want the kids to have the man and the mother. So we force ourselves to just stay there. Oh. And of course, because we're in a patriarchal society, the man will find his happiness somewhere else. You are 60, looking old. You're not like you just stayed
like
here.
YK. You're not
like
YK.
You're not favored like that. So you're just there, 60, 65 there, and the man is there, and he has done it. So we're trying. Can we find real happiness? Can women be truly happy? Can we help women who are not lucky to find women who are not lucky to find that, who are not to have that perfect bond, to say, can we allow them find love elsewhere at some point? That's the real conversation, because it's the heart of the matter. Many people don't cheat because they want to cheat, they want to hurt you, but it's things that happen that the foundation
Might be wrong.
was wrong.
You know, someone was saying recently that with men, they sort of, from the very beginning, have an idea who their spec is. But as you mentioned, circumstances, you're much younger,
You're
financially,
jobless, you see a girl that is doing
and then
well.
and you know that time, and then you finally get married to this person. You now get to the position where you feel you're financially, mentally, spiritually ready for your spec, and at that point, your spec also sees you.
That's life. But Nigeria context, you have to stay. But abroad,
You should
sometimes, abroad sometimes, both of you have a conversation, uncle, it's time to go.
Have you heard? You've chosen your bed.
lay in it. Yes.
So you are now sentenced.
Have you heard? Act in haste, repent at leisure.
Let's digest that. Let me take this call from Abuja. Good morning. Are you there?
Yes, good morning,
Good morning, sir. You're live.
Good morning.
Yeah. You see, for me, I will never cheat on my wife. I will never do that. But if she cheats on me, that's the end of the marriage. There's no meeting, there's no forgiving, there's no apology, there's no amount of meeting that can make me change my mind. Cheating for me is a deal breaker. You cheat on me, it's over. But I will never cheat. And my wife knows that. Even before we got married, we talked about it. I will never cheat on you. But if it happens, it's up to you to decide whether you want to stay or go. But I will never cheat. That's for me.
Okay. Fantastic, John.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Okay,
your contribution.
that's
So-
interesting that John said that, he said he would never, but if it happens, it also depends on how to stay or go. So is that there's a risk of something like that happening if you're with someone. There's a risk of betrayal coming in.
it's like-
And as we know, cheating is very wide. We have emotional cheating, we have physical, we have just, just wanting to be friends with someone over your wife or over your spouse, over your husband. And so when he says that, for me, it didn't sound, to be fair, but it didn't sound like this is so noble. Let me tell you why. Because for most men, it is very hard for them to forgive cheating. It has always been that way. But women can be asked to forgive cheating. So if a man were to come here and says, if my wife were to cheat, we'll have the conversation and see how we can repair this and move on. That would, that for me will stick out because men have been known. Even just the idea of you may be, and that's the end. So men, can we find out if you're willing to talk to your wife and then move on if she were ever to, slip?
Let me take this call from Niger State. Good morning. Are you there? Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well. You're live.
Thank you. I want to appreciate you people. We really appreciate your program.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I think you are talking about cheating. I think for me personally, the problem we are facing in Africa is both the men and the women. We need to trust ourselves, man. There is serious communication gap. It's unethical to see a married woman to cheat. Cheat is not something we should take for granted in Africa. And mostly, what we discover is a lot of women, they are pretending. And if you are in a relationship, most especially a married woman, you should not pretend. You should say what is your mind. And you should know the stage. You understand? You should communicate with your husband. Majority of Nigerian men are really trying. It's not easy, man. And that is why anytime I watch your program, you people are really advising the Nigerian women. People should be, you can think big, but you should always know your stage. This is the problem we are facing. People want to have money. People they want to reach where they are not. You understand?
Oh, thank you, Etsu. Thank you. So I like the word he used, pretending. The truth is that because the society really pushes young people, especially young girls. Everybody just thinking of them get married. Let me just find somebody in church. Let me just find somebody. Well, just find somebody, sha. You now enter it, bam. And then you do, and because you enter it, you manage for the first 10 years, you just find a way to adjust, because they say the first few years is very, very tough. So you two, you more. But then when you mature, begin to mature, you have your own job, you blossom, you become your own person, and you see better. I'm like, how did I end up with this guy? But if you're in other countries, at that moment you can say, you want to leave, you can step aside. But here, it's not that easy for society to support you step aside because you've entered it already. And that's why they say once you enter, that there's no going out. So do we now live? How do we help a woman in that situation? What kind of advice do you give that kind of person? Stay and fix it?
The truth is people can grow apart. People can grow into different people.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that they are bad people. It just means that they've grown so much that they value different things over time and they make different choices that no longer, you can't find that compromise to remain in the marriage. And like the man said, a lot of people pretend and create this facade like that together. I see a lot of couples that you see one person has, they've relocated, they've separated, the wife and children are abroad somewhere, and the man is here living single, and the woman is there. So maybe like 2 times or 3 times in a year, you are a family unit. But apart from that, you're actually living different. And some people can live separately but be faithful. But in this case, they are living separately but they are unfaithful. So they've actually decided that we would make things work when we are together, but let us just be free when we are apart. That for me is the pretense. That for me is not right. I would rather you're mature enough to say this thing is no longer working. You have a life in Nigeria, and the life is really sweet, and you should just stick to it. Let me also have my life in the UK or in the US and be free and stick to it. When we have family events, we come together. It's about being true to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Being true to ourselves and being honest with ourselves and having that tough conversation. Why it doesn't happen before is a lot of economical. It's largely economical because many people can't make the decision because you need the other person's financial support and resources or connection and all of that, or the protection of having that name. But when money is out of the game and the risk is not financial, people are able to make that decision that I know myself, and I'm looking at you and wondering, can we still make this thing
That's where I
work?
wanted the conversation to go to, where we face it for what it is.
Question
and not
what
pretend that, everything is fine and dandy. When you know, because let's not hide behind, as a fashion let me choose fashion for it. Hide behind a finger. You are doing this thing, we see it.
But you know, the pretense also, I don't know if it's pretense, but there's this scenario where this is something I know. The man is here in Nigeria and lives single. And then the wife is there with the children, and he assumes she's faithful. And one time he found something that suggested that she may be in a relationship, and all hell broke loose, because everybody in Nigeria knows you, that you are living your life as if. So who is pretending? And what exactly are you expecting from the other person on the other side? If you yourself, even without the hassle of taking care of the children, you're still just everywhere, you cannot understand that of your wife, who sees you maybe once a year or twice in the year.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter, not just about cheating, but making decisions, making mature, healthy decisions that is long-lasting and also be helpful and beneficial to all the parties involved. What we find out is that these days, when it comes to cheating, either one person wins, the other person suffers. And we're saying that as we move on, as we're maturing, we need to have more open conversations where everybody goes home happy. If this is not working, if we've grown apart, if we see that this union isn't working, we should be mature enough to accept. And it doesn't have to be always a fight. It should be 2 adults say, you know what, it's not working anymore. We can have our separate ways, live our separate ways, make sure the kids are fine, and we move on. But here it has to be about something. If he cheats on you, it doesn't mean that all hell should break loose. Something happened, and then you should be able to have a mature conversation to let it go. But why is it so difficult to have these kind of conversations here?
Mature conversation happens where there's money, and money is given to somebody, and someone feels, okay, I'm losing the marriage, but at least I've got something to, to fall back on. The problem is when I lose the marriage, I lose everything that I'd worked for. And then, like they always say, then this is 20-something-year-old girl from nowhere now comes in. And everything that I have acquired and put in the house is no longer mine. I'm now asked to live by myself. In fact, the children self may not even see me as often. That is when people go crazy, like never. We all die here. So I think that's why, when we talk about modern marriages and we're talking about going to the registry, it is really for situations like this, because there have been times, we used to have a time where women just knew if they've lost out, they've lost out. But you're hoping that you have a proper justice system that can sort of give you some sort of compensation. Now, it's not to say that very rich people too find it easier to walk away. Do you know what it means? I can't imagine what it means that I have everything money can buy, except this person I feel that is the love of my life. That must be so painful. I mean, some people want to give up everything that they have so that they can make sure that they work. And those sort of people, you find they will employ all resources to see how they can work on that marriage. It's just many things.
Many shades of everything.
I was going to ask, there are some men that cheat with decorum. They
respectfully cheating.
You will never know that they're cheating, or they cheat far away
respectful
from home. They don't have a...
They don't put it in your face.
It's not in your face. maybe your gossipy friend just happened to see him somewhere and then, I saw your husband with, I don't know which concern him. Those men, they are respecting their wives. The wife cannot know, or
Yes.
at least unless somebody,
Yes.
or she just runs into.
YK, in that situation, can the wife too respectfully cheat? That's the question we're asking.
That's pressure leading you to becoming who you are not.
There are two
Or
things.
are you doing that of...
Tope. There's that one of pressure. That one is in one cooler. There's another woman that the way you two, that respectful that you have for me, me too, because me too, I honestly feel that I need to also respectfully do this because there's a guy that helps me, the supplier of the corn I use for this kidney corn. He's a good guy. He's divorced. And both of us have a good conversation. I can respectfully do it.
That's not respectful cheating. The man is
That's a retaliation.
That's the man.
It's not retaliation.
The man is maybe going to hotels or whatever he's doing. He's going far. You don't know the people. He's not even. They're not even relationships. They're just listen. They're just
Yes.
runs.
Yes.
Just doing runs.
Yes.
You now say your con guy who is discussing with you, and then the two of you will be sitting down and discussing. After you have clinic on, you now become friends. That one is no more respectful cheating. That one you have formed a relationship outside your marriage.
Let's put it right. There's nothing like respectful cheating. We're just
No,
using
you
it for
said
the conversation.
respectful cheating.
I know. I'm just
I
saying.
didn't call it respectful
You're
cheating.
right. I called it that because I wanted to qualify it. But the truth is that cheating is cheating. There's nothing like
it's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful. Let me take this call from this call. Good morning. I think I have a call from the UK, I believe. Ade, you're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. This is
Morning.
Ade.
Yes.
Ade. Yeah, when you talk of cheating, please, I don't support cheating, but let's think it this way. Maybe the man has been trying to correct his wife about hygiene, and but he don't take it to the correction. And the man will be saying one day, when no one we like neatness, and we look elsewhere, and there's this cheating language. It's alien to African culture. You don't see somebody you are equal with. Husband and wife, man is the head. They are not equal at all. But they can be one, but they are not equal. So, hygiene can cause it for a man elsewhere. So please, this cheating language, when today, women in Nigeria, they are doing call. Don't tell them on Facebook, we see them, married women. So, what are you talking about? Take care of your home.
I'm not sure I have got
Yeah, it was talking about. I heard that he said Nigerian women are doing hookup. When we go back to cheating, there is a broad spectrum. The one that many people tend to focus on is the physical cheating, but there are emotional cheating where either party get attached to the opposite sex for emotional.
The cheating.
In an emotional level, where you are confiding in the opposite sex friend. It's not that you're having any physical relationship, but that opposite sex is your confidence. Is the one that you feel you can unburden. That for me, that's the real deal breaker. I want to be the only one that knows my husband's secrets.
Yeah.
I want to be the first person you will call when there's a challenge. If I can see you having, even if it is a man, like my husband has his latest very good friend. They've been friends for the past, they're business partners now. So I'm getting jealous of everything you're discussing. Any night next to you, you're calling him. You should call me first. And that for me is the communion, that's the relationship. Once there is a gap over time, something else would fill it. So I feel that it's not like we must be inside each other's pocket all the time, but relationships would thrive when you understand each other's needs and you're actively working towards meeting each other's needs. Now, there are some men that I've heard, they will tell you, I'm amazing at home. I take care of my wife in the other room, in the financial part, and I just like flexing some babes outside. And they'll tell you that my wife thinks I'm amazing, but I just like to do this one outside.
Some people it's a hobby.
And they enjoy it. They feel like it's fun. But my thought is, how would you feel if you find out that this your wife that you think have settled at home is doing the same thing to you? And in most cases, they break down. They cannot even imagine it. So it's that feeling of, what you don't want, you cannot take. Don't dish it out. Yeah. And even if you can take it, don't dish it out. If the other person can't take it. And if you're both in that relationship and you find yourself emotionally detached, then be mature enough to face it and tell yourselves that this thing, I don't think it is working. Is it possible that we have grown apart and then we would move on separately? and be mature in dealing with the children and not hurt each other in the process.
We have to wrap up on this, but I think we've been able to, because I didn't want it to just be about the regular cheating conversation. I really want us to look at the different ways on how we can understand the emotions behind people's actions. We're going to go on a break now. When we come back, we might move to another topic or take a few calls on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.